Hey y'all, it's Anime K-Man, and today I am going to be reviewing Carole on Tuesday, episode 7, and I'm just gotta lay it out here immediately. This episode surpassed my expectations completely because I like how in this episode you get, for one, stakes established because Angela, in order to make herself seem much more authentic, she's gonna take this invitation to compete in this talent show called The Mars Brightest, where she doesn't have to participate in the auditions, but she's gonna have to compete. And I like how they even bring up the point too of what's gonna happen if she loses. And I like how it brings up some narrative stakes too, because simultaneously you got Carole on Tuesday that's gonna audition, and when they inevitably do succeed in the audition, and then they end up in the Mars Brightest show, I was just like, oh shit. It's on now, because even though Angela doesn't know those two girls yet, I'm assuming we're gonna get some paths colliding. So for one, that's what I like about this episode. You're getting, even though it wasn't necessarily screamed at your face, there are subtle hints that, yeah, that competition is going to be really, really intense to an extent. So I like that. Slowly building up tension. And then aside from that, I also like how this episode makes some nice plot progression, because at the very least it goes from them going through this application for the Mars Brightest towards them finding out that they actually did get into the competition. And then in the episode we get interspliced some more Carole characterization and some Tuesday character development. So, and we also get to figure out, I didn't say it necessarily, but the episode did imply that Angela's mother was originally a man. At least it implied that it was a man, and then it was implied that Angela's mother, the medication or whatever she took was kind of like a side effect, because it shows when it shows Angela's room, it shows a picture of Angela's, I'm assuming, father, and then it shifts into Angela's mother's face. So at least that's what the episode implied. So that was also another interesting element about this episode. We get to find out more layers, not just on Carole on Tuesday, we get to find out more layers about Angela's mother too. So that was also pretty interesting. So there was a good amount of information spliced within bits of the episode, making every single sequence in this episode just so entertaining. So that's why I felt it did well from a story standpoint. And then of course it culminates with them getting into the competition. So we made some super nice plot progression, and there was also some nice bits of humor here and there too, like when Gus first announced the bad news that he spent all their money that Carole on Tuesday had him fucking dog racing. I'm like, fuck, dude. If you're gonna bet on a sport, at least bet on something easy like fucking NBA basketball or do they have that in Mars? Still though, at least an easier sport like basketball or football, and instead of fucking dog racing, it was I'm assuming there's gonna be multiple dogs where you have to bet on the right one. Just seems like the odds are much, much lower. But then again, it's Gus. He's probably not a professional gambler. But I'm not saying I encourage gambling, but if you ever gamble, always have a set amount of money you gamble. It's best to, at the most you should bet is maybe 2% of your total bankroll, or 1% when you bet. Not the whole fucking thing at once. Oh, fuck. So that also gave me some humor too, when Gus gives off the bad news, and then Rhodey just shows up randomly giving him the good news, and then Gus is like, he's got the face of this motherfucker. I wanted to give the good news, but then Rhodey ends up giving the good news instead. So I kind of like that too about this episode. It also had the trademark Carole on Tuesday humor that worked. And then in addition to that, I like the character development we got for Tuesday too, because I like how she observes herself that she lacks confidence, but then as the episode builds and you see Carole and Tuesday interact more, and you see Tuesday become much more confident, I like that because you see much more growth in Tuesday. You see Carole bring out the best in Tuesday. And then I like how it culminates where Tuesday's all like, now she's much more willing to share things with Carole in regards to Tuesday failed in like her academics recently because she was a dropout, while her brother ended up going to a school like Harvard. And I like how that gives you some characterization because even though the episode didn't necessarily say it, siblings are usually there to like compare themselves to their other siblings. And I'm assuming that's part of the reason why Tuesday doesn't have a lot of confidence because she probably sees how successful her brother is. But that's how life is though sometimes. While you're not as good as a sibling in one thing, you gotta at the very least build yourself up in something else so that that type of shit doesn't let you down. So that was also another interesting theme about this episode too. Even though it didn't mention it, I think it was one of the implied themes that if you're not good at something, you gotta find something else that you're good at. So this episode, aside from it being well paced, it also had some interesting themes too. And I like how as Tuesday was talking about that kind of stuff, she was getting more confidence. And I like how it felt like Carole and Tuesday became closer. And I like how it culminated near the end because at first, Tuesday was wearing sunglasses so that her mom couldn't find out. And then later, she decided not to wear sunglasses, and then she's all like, hey, if she finds out, then she finds out, and whatever happens, happens. And I like that bit of character development there, too. It shows you Tuesday getting much more of that beautiful self-confidence, and I love it. And I also like, too, how it mentions how Tuesday's also helping bring out the best in Carole, because it's mentioned that Carole really enjoys singing with Tuesday. She's really happy, and I like how this episode also emphasizes that Carole normally doesn't trust a lot of personal details to other people normally, and I like how that shows that Carole is also becoming much more open as she hangs out with Tuesday too. So I like that because it shows off their two-way street about the relationship. They both give each other growth, and it makes then that's what really makes their friendship really, really fun to watch in the anime. Just makes it feel natural. So that's why I thought it did well from the character development standpoint for Carole and Tuesday. And we get some Carole characterization too when she mentions her past, how her parents abandoned her, and that she was actually from Earth before she was taken to Mars. So I found that relatively interesting too. So that's why I thought I did really well from a character standpoint. And then aside from that, I also like how it shows you that with Angela, not everything's peachy fine because she seems to have something about her past that she doesn't like too much. Because when she mentions that if she goes back to her original room, it'd be suffocating. That was really interesting. It gives you more intrigue about the character, even though we didn't find out much specifically about Angela. It makes her much, much more interesting. So I like how they're building up to something with her too, from the looks of things. And that's why I thought it did really well from the character standpoint. As for the art animation, do I even need to say more? This episode, anime always brings it from a visual standpoint. Like, again, I gotta continue saying this. This and Kimetsu no Yaiba are like up here, and everything else is over here. Like, that's how well the animation for the show is. So, no complaints there. If anything, it's exceptional as always. And from a sound standpoint, it did pretty well. The voice performances were great. And then when there were the Mars auditions and then everyone else, it showed us other people's auditions. I like how it was fucking hilarious how the actors probably asked to like mess up those voice performances, but I like how it sounded funny simultaneously. So that was also pretty cool. A pretty cool thing from the episode. Probably took a lot of work from the animation directing staff and the directing staff to get the right recordings, and from the voice performers too. So I gotta give credit to everyone involved there. Really gave me some laughs. Gave me some what was the show called? It's been a while. American Idol vibes. There you go. That's what show I was thinking of. And that's what I thought it did well from that standpoint. And I like that little cameo too from Idea too. That little asshole robot. Never thought I'd actually see him there, so it was cool to see this episode also bring up stuff from the previous episodes. And taking all these factors into consideration, I'm going to rate this episode a 9 out of 10. I just thought it was competently produced, had nice plot progression and character progression. So anyways, guys and gals, these are my thoughts on Carole on Tuesday, episode 7. Comment on your thoughts in the comments section below. Rate the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later if you subscribe for more. Alright. Thank you all so much for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.